you so much for being here. I am so grateful to be here, to be talking about our project, Climbing Everest. One of the greatest privileges I think we have as content creators and brand ambassadors and distributors and technologists is that we have an opportunity to really bring magic into the world. And one of the things that made Capturing Everest so special was that we had an opportunity to bring magic into the world and into people's homes. And when we're in production on a show, we love our show family. You all kind of go through the mess together and the highs and the lows. And this was a really unique opportunity because who you're collaborating with is as important as the end product. And from the very beginning with Lauren, our producing partner, and Mia Trams, our distribution partner with Time, we all really had a shared vision. And the shared vision was really to believe in these extraordinary people climbing a mountain with a camera strapped to their head. So with no further banter from me, I'm going to introduce our, I'm actually going to show the sizzle, and then I'm going to introduce Mia.
I don't know, maybe it's good to feel alone because I feel like I made the choice to come here on my own and by myself, so I'm not sure I made the right choice.
Is this worth it? I've got 2 kids at home. I've got a wife that I miss, and so it was a hard time for me just thinking, should I go on or should I give up?
I do know this. The strongest climber in the world is not climbing Everest if they're not healthy and if the weather doesn't cooperate. If we're lucky and we're healthy, you know, we'll have a good go at the summit.
Hey everybody, it's bright. How y'all doing today? Enjoying Sundance so far? Great. So very quickly, just a quick poll. How many people in here have watched VR? Excellent. That's great. Okay, so I'm Mia Trams. I'm the managing editor of Life VR. It's Time Inc.'s company-wide virtual reality initiative. It's cross-brand, so it includes Time, Sports Illustrated, People, Entertainment Weekly, InStyle, Travel and Leisure, Food and Wine, all of our biggest titles. And my role in this position has been to help develop Time's strategy in this new medium, and then also to develop and produce the content, which has been massively exciting. Lauren Selig, who I will introduce very shortly, asked me a question last night. She said, when you're looking at projects for Life VR, what's your criteria? What are you looking for? The first thing I look for is, the brands that we have are very storied. They have legacies attached to them. They have viewership that is very dedicated and has been reading those publications, both in print and online, for many, many years, decades in some cases. So we have to pay homage to that. Any projects we do have to kind of carry that legacy and live up to the quality of content that those titles produce. The second part is, as we all know, there are some very sizable hurdles for getting a consumer to put on a headset and watch a piece of VR content and then stay in it and watch it to the end. So the project has to kind of take those hurdles and be so exciting that it transforms them from being hurdles into points of excitement on a journey into something new. Oh my God, I'm gonna watch this. Oh my God, I get to put on this headset. This is so fun. Oh my God, I'm in here and this is more mind-blowing than I could have thought it would be. So Capturing Everest checks all those boxes and more. It's an incredible project. When I was introduced to Bonnie and first heard about it, we both knew right away that this was something we wanted to collaborate on. So we'll be launching Capturing Everest this year. It'll be attached to Sports Illustrated. And what's really great about Life VR is that we are able to kind of roll these out across platforms. So we will be distributing Capturing Everest as a 3-part series in the Life VR cardboard app for iOS and Android. And we'll also be rolling it out on SportsIllustrated.com as an interactive package. And it will also be in print as a flip cover, possibly a cover for Sports Illustrated, which is incredibly exciting. So with no further ado, I will introduce our executive producer, Lauren Selig, who will be also introducing you to our climbers.
Ooh. Right. Thank you guys for having all of us. I'm going to give a quick history on the project and how it all came together, and then let these guys who actually did all the work answer a bunch of questions, kind of give you a bit of the experience of what it was all about. But I grew up in the mountains as a climber, and in 2002 saw my first virtual reality experience, which was not about climbing, but it was actually my childhood home that was about to be torn down, and I got to walk through it in VR. And that was in 2002, which was a long time ago in VR, and was an extremely immersive experience for me. So a couple years ago, I worked as a producer on the feature film Everest, and I remember sitting on stage at Pinewood Studios in the giant 007 soundstage, and we had recreated what base camp should look like on Everest. I was lucky enough to go to Everest 18 years ago and summit with a climber, and it was an incredible experience. So I'm looking at this fake version of Everest in front of me in the soundstage, and it's all warm and toasty in there, and I happened to call a friend of mine, Garrett Madison, who runs Madison Mountaineering, and told him where I was and what I was doing, and he said, you know, well, why don't we try to do this on the real Everest at some point. It got me thinking at that point it would be a really unusual, very difficult, complicated experience, but one definitely worth trying. Just side note, Garrett is not here because he just summited Mount Vincent, called us today on his sat phone, successfully made it down, and said he was thrilled to be able to see what we are all putting together with Sports Illustrated and Endemol, which is very exciting. But what I just want to say is, when we started this project with the support of our partners, we had literally no time to do it. We got the green light. The climbers were already in Kathmandu at the time. We had to send cameras immediately, get them up to speed on how to use them. It's already hard enough to summit a mountain like that. Now you're having to add on all these other elements that are, frankly, impossible to be able to figure out how to use. So I want to start by asking Brent over there at the very end, one of our fearless leaders. You've spent and are no stranger to the mountains, have spent a lot of time on Everest. What made this project exciting for you? And then as a side note to that, can you kind of get behind the difficulties of having to use these cameras and those elements and how you got around that?
Great. Well, I've been connected to Everest for over 50 years. My father climbed Everest with the first American team in '63. I summited in '94 the first time as the first American legacy, and then summited 2 more times since then in this last spring. And I just realized that the family has 5 involvement in film projects over those 50 years, starting with the first National Geographic special narrated by Orson Welles. And these movies have always influenced me, and I've been lucky enough to take part in it. And then this last go around, being able to film in VR, which takes the experience to a whole nother level. And you know, I'm excited because it's going to motivate people to get out and climb, and then it's also going to be able to take the experience to them in a way that they've never seen before. And you know, it was a gift to be able to take part in that process, to give something back to the community, whether they're going to climb or not. As far as filming on the mountain, it was difficult. This is the first time I've done any filming up high. It's cold. It was 35 degrees below zero on the summit morning, with wind chill taking it down below that, and having to set up a tripod and work with this this nascent VR technology. It wasn't easy. So I was really pleased with how everybody worked on the project and the film that we captured. And I'll say that, the genie, well, not the genie, we're about to see a flood of amazing content coming in the VR format, just as we saw with the GoPros. And it's going to be really exciting to see where it goes in climbing and all these other action sports and how it's going to influence generations moving forward.
Thanks. So for those of you that don't know Jeff, he's an incredible climber, athlete. He also happens to be an amputee, so to make it to the top of that mountain, an impressive feat. But you and I were talking today about the uses of virtual reality for pain management and things like that, which you are not a stranger to. Can you talk a little bit about how you foresee using VR both as a climber and adventurer, but also as a personal use?
Yeah, I lost my leg when I was 8 years old. I was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and my dad turned on the machine. Changed my life forever. When I left the hospital, the doctors told me that there would be limits in my life, and the sad thing about it is I believed in all those limitations. And so I went to college and discovered wheelchair basketball and became a 3-time Paralympian and a 25-time Ironman finisher. It wasn't until just recently, thank you. But when I left that hospital, the doctor said, you can't do this, you can't do that. And so for me, it's just being surrounded by the right people and have the right dream. And so to be a part of this Everest project was so amazing. I have a special needs daughter. The biggest part of the reason I want to be a part of this is she'll never be able to climb Mount Everest, but she can put on that headset and she'll be able to experience it. She'll be able to take every single step that Dad took with me, or that I took with her to get to the top of the mountain. I have phantom pain in my leg, and so like we were talking earlier, and so I think virtual reality also has a component of maybe it'll be able to help people with disabilities to experience something that no one else has ever done before. Maybe it'll help with the pain management, but it was an amazing experience to be a part of this team. I'd like to give a shout out to my good friend and producer of this group, Corey Petrick, and amazing guy and amazing friend, so thank you for being a part of it.
Thank you. I want to talk about the camaraderie of bringing this whole team together. I know that when you build a brand or support a brand, you have a big team around you. Most of these guys, when they got to the mountain, didn't actually even know each other, so you have a team from scratch. And I wanted to ask, Lisa, when you get to the top, what does that feel like around all these strangers from 3 months prior, and now you have your life in each other's hands?
Yeah.
What's that?
I mean, we're not strangers anymore at that point. We go through this process of really getting to know each other and building bonds that are stronger than any other bond I have with other friends. And that's a good feeling. It's a comforting feeling to know that those people that you are with literally have your back, and vice versa. There are a lot of emotions when you get to the top of Mount Everest, as you can imagine. And I think for me, I was pretty pragmatic. I knew that I was the farthest I would probably ever be from any kind of support if something went wrong. And so I sort of had a list of things in my mind that I needed to do. And then sadly, after months of preparing, I was ready to get out of there because I knew that I was only halfway and that so many accidents happen going down. So to me, that sort of moment when it all started to come together was after we were out of harm's way. So we had just gotten through the Khumbu icefall. And that's when I think we all sort of had this kind of rush of, wow, like I just did that. And we had all given up so much. We had all overcome so much. So disability and cancer, we had all been questioned by other people. We had all made choices that others sort of raised an eyebrow at. And so to get through it safely and successfully as a team, to me was an incredibly rewarding experience. And now to be able to share that with other people who may never have an opportunity to go there and experience it is unbelievable to me.
Thank you. And then one final thing. So when we talk about the opportunity to be able to roll this out with Sports Illustrated and possibly have the cover of the magazine and roll it out on their VR platform, and any of you guys take this one, what does it mean to be able to allow so many people out there to have such a unique opportunity and experience that you guys are able to have?
First, you have to pinch me, because I just can't imagine that could ever happen. But
such a great opportunity to share our story. You know, all of us have dreams. You know, it doesn't matter if it's climbing Mount Everest, but it's great to be able to have you guys come along on that journey and have us to see success and have us struggle. And yeah, it's it's the partnership, and that's what I want everyone to see, and I think that'll come across in this movie.
For sure. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.